Antelope Freeway 1 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/2 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/4 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/8 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/16 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/32 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/64 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/128 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/256 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/512 mile. We've just passed Antelope Freeway. This is Dale Matthews. I run the non-commercial website called badcounty.com and also Bad County Facebook and Bad County Twitter. I thought I'd share with you this week just a 10-minute guest appearance I made late last year on the Bill Meyer radio show in Jackson County.
We were talking a bit about a situation involving Jack Swift last week, an attorney. You wanted to talk about an interesting point. Let's see if there's a way that I could phrase this. Should the tactics of the proponents influence your vote? Does this have to do with a proposed new levy in Joe County?
Right. It's having to do with all kinds of political issues. The question is, a number of people have said, hey, we're all on the same side, so let's not criticize each other at all. Well, especially not in public, but an example is we have a person that was a candidate for a county commissioner a while back, and when a petition on another subject was going around, his wife decided to take one of the petition sheets and draw a big X over it. Don't do that.
Okay, why would you draw a big X over a petition sheet?
Because she was upset about that petition. Well, we don't do that. We're the good guys. That destroyed that petition. It got her in trouble. Anyone associated with people who do that by transference kind of look like, hey, what's wrong with your people? It makes the movement, the loosely formed movement, that's getting better and better formed these days, it makes it look like we can't obey the rules.
When you talk about this loosely formed movement, is this the loosely formed movement to pass a levy, get a levy going?
Or to defeat something, or to get something signed, or to grab up petition letters or whatever. The better organized we get, the more come in groups of people who say, hey, we know what everybody wants, so we're going to narrow their focus. We're going to cut off some of the possibilities, and we're going to say, well, although there's 3 ways to go, we're all going to go one way. No, wait a second. It's very much like the person that sometimes comes on and makes comments on your show who wanted to cut off the ability for anyone on the other side to speak. Hey, that's not our tactic. I think that there's going to be a recall effort here coming up in the early part of the year. And there's a group of people who said, oh, well, no, we're only going to try to recall one person, and we've already chosen that person. Now, wait a minute. I think we should leave it up to the people. I just think that makes sense to do that. And I don't need a small group of people. I might as well go to a commissioner's meeting if I'm going to get this. I don't need a small group of people telling me, I know what's best for you. You're going to do this. Hey. Who made you in charge of everything? I'm not saying we shouldn't have any organization, but we shouldn't be using the tactics of the guys we're trying to defeat.
Now, you are one of the people behind or at least in favor of total recall, right? Total recall of what is going on in Josephine County. Fair enough?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so you're in favor of total recall, and then there are other people who purport to be also in favor of recall, but they're saying that we're only in favor of one, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Just Cherryl Walker, that's all.
Just Cherryl Walker. Okay,
right.
And Simon Hare, and who is your other commissioner?
That's Keith Heck. Oh, they're doing a wonderful job.
Keith Heck would end up surviving. So this would strike me then as more partisan influence more than anything else, right?
Yes, and it's fine that everyone has their own point of view. I'm not arguing that. Of course, they should have their own point of view, and they should be able to say it anytime they want to.
But to go out there and say that I'm speaking for everybody when I say we only want to recall Cherryl Walker,
yes.
Knock this off is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying why not leave it up to the people? Oh, the people often don't know what they want. Hey, I can hear that every day at a commissioner's meeting. I don't need you, since we're on the same side, to be telling me the same thing. It's the same message, just from different people.
I would figure that the other two are probably good Republicans, even though it's a nonpartisan position, and the other one's that wascally Democrat, that kind of thing. I'm just wondering if that's what's going on.
But they are Republicans, just very not very good ones. And this is the main point. The better the more people feel that they need to take control over everything, the more they're likely to say, you have a different opinion at this meeting. This happened to me recently. I said, I think we should leave it up to the people. Seems to me a reasonable attitude. A couple other people said, no, we're going to basically decide for them.
Okay, so who decides when we're talking about a public recall, aren't there petitions involved in this to recall the three?
Yes.
Okay. So how is it that these various group members then decide that, well, we're just going to decide what to decide for these people?
Right.
I don't understand. I thought that a recall, if you're doing total recall, you say, okay, here's three of them up there. You decide whether they stay or go, right?
That's my point of view.
Okay. All right.
When we were going up against 4 ordinances, we had to take around with us 4 sheets of paper. And so now that we're talking about 1, 2, or 3 or no recalls, you have to take around 3 sheets of paper. If you're going to do it, no, we're only going to do it with 1. I said, look, we just did one with 4. What's the problem? Oh, people get confused. I said, well, they weren't confused by the last time. Well, why don't you just leave this meeting? Hey.
So it sounds to me like various political leaders, not necessarily elected officials, but political leaders, then they wish to just get the people to give the rubber stamp to what they personally wish to have occur.
Their small group of people want.
All right, so this is a very simple message from Dale Matthews at badcounty.com.
Right.
Total recall was proposed. Let the people decide who they want to keep, because they can decide on an individual basis, correct?
That's correct.
They can decide if they want to keep Keith Heck or Cherryl Walker or Simon Hare, or they can take them all out, or they can take none of them out, or they can take 1, 2, or 3 out, right? That's
correct.
Why do you think people are working so hard to protect what appears to be a pretty broken board?
Because they've got some kind of deal worked out with them.
Maybe now you're drilling into the real core issue.
The real core, the reason our conversation started this morning is, should you adopt the tactics of the other side? And what I'm saying is, if you're going to make secret deals, and if you're going to use the same kind of restrictive tactics that the other side uses, I don't believe that belongs in a movement of people.
You are effectively no better than what you claim to be fighting against. Fighting against non-transparency in Josephine County government. And what's the point of going out and fighting transparency when you yourself are behaving in a rather opaque manner in who you're going to recall? Got it?
Well, as an example, same small group of people, when we were fighting to at least get a voter's pamphlet about these ordinances, well, they suggested, how about if we were to make up our own voter's pamphlet? Well, okay. And we'll make it look just like a real one. Well, okay. And yes, it'll be a fake voter's pamphlet, but people will look at that and they'll go, oh, the voter's pamphlet, great.
But you see, that's just as deceptive.
That's exactly my point.
And that's where you're going. In other words, you're saying people that want to improve Josephine County government do not behave as badly as the people you're trying to remove or get them to change. That's
entirely the point.
All right. Go out there, let the vote occur, let the people figure it out. Don't go out there and presume to know what they are capable of understanding. And I guess when you're talking about trying, so often, though, so much of our political process is that way, Dale. There is never a choice other than the choice presented to you. We have the gatekeepers in the political world. Here are the 2 choices. There's Pepsi, political Coke, and there is only you can only choose between those 2 predetermined choices. And that's what we're fighting this morning. Okay?
That's exactly right, sir.
All right. Dale, thanks so much for bringing it up. I'm sure you have any new videos up on badcounty.com recently, or has the cold weather cooled the camera down?
No. We recently the Board of Commissioners has said we always take our votes in the Ann Basker Auditorium. We don't take votes in the little back room. Well, because I've got all the tapes, what I did is I went back over the last couple of months. Well, it even surprised me. Every week they take 1, 2, or 3 votes in the little back room. They're doing exactly the opposite. They got so upset last night. You're saying that that's not true. As it turns out, it's worse than what they said.
Now, what's happening? People just hate being called to account these days. We appreciate your work out there, Dale. Don't adopt the tactics of your opponents.
You just passed Antelope Freeway.